Guys, I'm doing a video. First, I wanted to show you my legs that are swollen. Then we'll talk more. So the Schemy Scammies told me that this is something that's a New York program. It's called a bully program to keep us working. Even though I was starting a business, it's something that they do in New York to keep people connected that don't want to connect with each other. The stalkers are telling me that, and if you look at my videos, in the comments section of on the bus, and then in the comments section of I will not remain silent, there are stalkers. So even in my comments, these stalkers are putting comments saying that this isn't going to end, that they want to make me miserable, and they're achieving their goals. You see my legs were swollen. On my Fashion Fun Femme Twitter account and on my Shamega Johnson Twitter account, you will see pictures of my legs, but I want to make sure you got the swelling. I'm just going to try to take this again. So I hope you guys can see that. So I have so much to say. I have 1.5 gigabytes. So if they cut me off, they say they cut me off because they want to fact check me. I'm in Co-op City, and this thing started in around 2016. And I'm not sure how they're doing this, but I'm doing these videos not only to tell you what these schemy scammies say, but to make sure you folks know where this is happening, and if you can help me spread the word that this is happening. I don't think I'm the only one targeted. I told you in a previous video that I went to Catholic school. Then when I graduated from Catholic high school, I went to Catholic college. And they said, well, you didn't go to public school. You went to Catholic school, and this is about Catholic school. I said, I don't think it's Catholic school, because this didn't start when I was in Catholic school. The stalker that I mentioned in Stalkers Will Be Exposed attended Catholic school, and I know that stalker did it to other Catholic school kids, but this did not happen about Catholic school. It was about someone who attended Catholic school. That person got a discount on her tuition because she was Catholic. My mother did not get a discount because I wasn't Catholic. So my mother was paying tuition from kindergarten through 12th grade. They said that that matters because for some reason they're trying to figure out how come my family always attained certain things and her family did not. That's not my concern. And again, they keep coming up with issues that are not what I'm focused on. I never had a cavity in my life, and I don't always brush my teeth regularly. I'm 48, not one cavity. When I went to the dentist once, she kept poking, and couldn't believe I didn't have a cavity. I have the right to maintain my teeth the way I want to maintain them. They don't have cavities. My breath does not stink. And yet these people want to dictate and control. To me, that goes back to what I'm telling you about the schemy scammies. They have an issue with wanting to control and to make it seem like they're the ones achieving what I've achieved. They want to put themselves out there as the reason why. So they want to make it seem like, well, you should do this, you should do. Listen, if what I'm doing is working for 48 years, and that's what I was doing before they came into my life, they should have left me alone. Once they came into my life, I'm not working. I'm sick. I look like this. I didn't look like this before they came into my life. So that's something I wanted to get into. So I want to go back into why they said this, the schemy scammy said this is New York, and this is to keep me down. So that doesn't make sense. You know, we have to kind of start to look at what makes sense from what doesn't make sense. If New York wants a bunch of people on welfare, disability, sitting around, or homeless, that wouldn't give any money for New York. New York needs money. We're a very expensive state to run. I know this, but the schemy scammies don't seem to know that. It's illogical. It's illogical to have a state full of homeless people, a state full of people who are on disability or welfare, and a state full of people who can't afford to live in the state. That's another part of this. See, you see how that connects, and I know you guys get it. I don't have to over-explain for you folks. If my family could afford to live here for generations, my family always afforded to live here in the state, and my mom was able to put me through to private schools. Cardinal Spellman's a private school, and she didn't get any assistance. When she got sick, then I went to a school that gave me financial aid. I got loans and I worked. Then I left school and I did okay. I made money for myself. They don't want that to come out. They wanted to make it seem like I was always in this shape. I wasn't. Why would they want to keep that hidden? I know why. Because if we hide the truth from you folks, then it paints the picture that New York is too expensive and that there's a problem with New York. No, if the problem is with these people who are making people who should be able-bodied disabled. They are making it hard for people like us who are honest people to live in this state so that we can go. And unfortunately, if we start to leave New York, what happens? You see, it's not to our benefit. It also isn't to the benefit of New York State for native New Yorkers. I'm a native New Yorker. So is my mom. So was my grandma. It's not to our benefit to leave, and it's not to the benefit of New York State to leave. Do you see how I'm telling you folks common sense that these people, it obviously isn't so common. I used to put on my Bella Soul - Shamega Johnson, Bronx, New York, at Fashion Fun Femme Twitter account, a Thomas Paine quote. It says, time makes more converts than reason. So it means that I could sit and try to reason with the schemy scammies until the day I die. Yet, over time, it will convert them to reality if it's possible. For those of us who don't need time, then we can reason. For those people who may not get reason right away, then time. But there are going to be people who neither one will help. Neither time nor reason will help the schemy scammies because they're not understanding it. It doesn't make sense for New York State to hurt New Yorkers and make native New Yorkers leave. That does not make sense. It also doesn't make sense if I did not have these issues before 2016, that suddenly I have these issues and no one would care and no one would be alarmed and say, man, there's a problem. It also doesn't make sense for the schemy scammies to whisper in the background, claiming to help me and then cut off my videos. That doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense? Because you can hear them. And I told you how you can just play it back at 0.25 times, the slowest speed. Even if you can't hear what they're saying, you can hear the technology they're using. It also doesn't make sense that someone who's a native New Yorker would suddenly be surrounded by people who aren't native New Yorkers. Where are all my native New Yorkers? That's another scheme and another scam they came up with. They thought I would be flattered that they would have people following me to protect me. Listen, I've been in New York for 48 years. I don't need people following me around to protect me. Okay? So I will be posting all videos of everyone following me. There's no reason for me to need people to follow me around to protect me. I don't think that's why they're following me around. See, at least they're saying they're following me around. The other thing is they wanted to clone my personality and clone what I would say. But if I'm saying it now in almost 300 YouTube videos, they didn't have to invade my privacy. They could have just watched the 300 YouTube videos. The other thing is they're saying that they thought I would be embarrassed by things. Well, look at, you see the marks on my body, and I'm going to tell you how they're doing the thing with my jaw in a moment. It's to my benefit not to do too much of what they say. It's like being in a situation where my enemy is directing me. Why would I let my enemies direct me? If they say, why don't you do this? That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to not do that. So what I wanted to tell you is, I told you how if they apply pressure to your temples, the top of your head, and the back of your neck, something like an EMF. It tightens and it throbs. So when they were hitting me in the head and near my ears, I would feel hot behind my ears. It felt like heat. And it felt like boom, boom, boom. And I could hear, my ears were so sensitive. My head was throbbing. I felt like, I told my mom it was like I was in some, that famous Scream painting. I felt like that. Once the swelling went down and you can see the remnants of the swelling, my eyes were all swollen and blurry. I couldn't see anything. My hearing was so sensitive. Well, what they would do is hit me right here where my jaw, if you do this to yourself, you'll feel it. There's like a little opening from where your ear is and your jaw. I think they meant to hit my ears, but hit my jaw. And so when they were squeezing my head with pressurization and the heat, my jaw would go like this. And then because your jaw is a muscle, it could clench up like this, sort of, So they said that was to destroy my teeth. See, there's a theme with my teeth, which is now how I'm figuring out who they are. They said that that they were going to ship me off to Israel, make me a prostitute, and take out all my teeth so no one could identify my body. That to me is a death threat. That's a horrible death threat. And so the reason they said they wanted me to keep brushing my teeth is something's in the toothpaste that allows them to keep doing that to my jaw, and that it will eventually wear off my teeth. Well, I said to my mom, when I was listening to this, I said, that sounds a lot like, when you're in your sleep and you're grinding your teeth. That sounds like that condition, because it doesn't work when you're awake, because when you're awake, your jaw muscle is tight. And I showed you that in a video with my finger. I showed you how my finger was shaking like this, and then I stiffened it and it shook still. I showed you how they did that. Well, that's similar to this. If you have jaw control like that, it's hard for them to clench it. But when I'm about to fall asleep and they do this, you see how it's relaxed, and then they do this, it slams my teeth shut. Well, that's a symptom where if you're sleeping, it doesn't work when you're sleeping. It works when you're just about to sleep. Your teeth will start grinding. So every time I do something, you'll think I'm lying. You know I'm not lying. Why? Because I never did these videos until now. I'm 48 years old. This has never been in my life. So whatever technology they're using, they think I have to overprove to you folks the truth. I don't have to, and I know I don't have to. But I'm going on with this teeth theme. So the reason they're upset that I don't brush my teeth all the time when they want me to is because probably something in the toothpaste helps them do this. So when I got this and my teeth are grinding, ultimately that will lead me to going to the dentist. It's a recurring theme with them, where every condition they give me requires me then to have to go to someone else to get help for that condition. I don't have the condition. So why would I want the condition? There's no reason I never had a cavity in 48 years. Why would I suddenly want to have to keep going to the dentist, let alone have my teeth removed? But they said that's how they mark us. That's one of their sayings. The other thing I showed you was my finger. Are you folks seeing it? My finger's finally clearing up. After I told you folks that that's what they said, that's how they mark us, with like dark marks on our faces or somewhere on our body where they can see it, then suddenly my finger starts clearing up. So again, that's another condition. If they wanted me to lose my teeth so that it marks me. They want me to have marks on my body. It marks me. I have the lumps on my body. It marks me. My face looks like this. It marks me. So this is a recurring theme with these people of not wanting me to work, worried about how much money I have so that they can they said they want to something my money down. I'll say wear my money down, run my money down. They said a very derogatory phrase. And I don't want to repeat that derogatory phrase. I don't know why they keep saying that derogatory phrase. Something about how, the derogatory phrase. I say, wear my money down, run my money down. They want to mark me. Again, the common theme with this is that they want to put me in a position where I'm vulnerable. They gave my information to people on the dark web. That, again, is a crime. I have a credit report and a credit tracking system that pings every time that happens. So if any of those people are watching, I want you to know that it's getting reported. Every time you ping my information, it gets reported. So you're not getting away with anything. So now that we got the teeth out of the way, I mean, we talked about teeth a lot. I talked about, the conditions that they wanted to create for me. The last thing I wanted to talk about is that They said that every time I'm trying to contact the police or the FBI or Interpol, the CIA, they're intercepting it. I know they didn't intercept it because the police came when I called them. So clearly, unless they are impersonating police, I don't think they are, the police came. If they're intercepting any other calls, that's another crime. The goal of this, I don't think, is so much just to make me upset and make me feel scared, but it's to isolate me and to feel like I can't call the police. They said if you contact the police or the CIA too much, they're going to block you on Twitter. That's what they told me. They'll block me on Twitter if I contact them too much. So what I'm telling you folks is the goal of this is not just a mind game. And I want you guys to check out the playlist that I'm making of their mind games. It's to constantly keep me. That's it. Constantly keep me. See, they keep using catchphrases, and they said, I said something like, one time I said, end of sentence or something, and then they came up with a phrase similar. But the truth is, they're not helping me. They're doing things to constantly keep me involved with them, keep me, they said, connected. I don't have any connections to these people. Keep me looking for proof of things. Keep me uneasy. Keep me up. Keep me awake. So it's just to keep me in a cycle. And I'm telling you folks that they now said it's something about New York. But a lot of what they're saying doesn't seem native to not only New York, but to America. It seems like it's from another country. And part of putting this up here on YouTube is that if you're looking at it in another country and you see these patterns happening where you are, please leave a comment. Also, take time to tell other people this is happening, because I feel that this is something that came from another country and they're trying it here, because this isn't something that I've ever experienced in New York in my lifetime. And my mom is in her 70s and she's not familiar with it. So I think this really is a foreign tactic. I think it's terroristic, torture. I think we know it's illegal and it's a crime, but I think it's designed to keep people around you that are not good for you. So part of when I was telling you how I revealed some of the Stalkers, part of the goal of this, I believe, was they said they wanted to get me into witness protection so they can take my name. I'm one of a few Shamegas, Shamega, Shamega, not Shamika with a K. And once they started addressing me as Meek, Shamika, they wanted to take Shamega. No, they can't have Shamega. I don't know how many Shamegas there are, but there aren't a lot of us. And I'm one of them, and I've been that person for 48 years, and I don't intend to give it up. So I think that was their scam. They told me they wanted to use my name in some movies based on a book that I told you about, which is called Northbury Papers. But no one had the right to use my name in that book, let alone now try to spin it off and to make it a bigger deal when I told you folks that was not only my professor, that was my name. And a lot of the things she described, like my grandmother's banana pancakes, that's true. That would be something I would have put in my own book. Anyway, so getting back, so that's another part of it. So we had the teeth part of it, which is to disfigure me and to cause me to be scared. We have the health problems. Then we have the taking my identity. The last step of this was they keep telling me I have to move and I have to leave New York. Either I have to leave the country, I have to leave the state. And then the next next time the schemey scammy say they don't want me to leave New York because they're not finished this process. So part of the process was that they called me a broke bitch who happens to have her own, apartment. And they said, you don't have your own apartment. Your mom lives with you. Yes, they said it correctly. My mom lives with me. It is my apartment. Who happens to have her business and happens to have ideas. you get how this doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. On the one hand, they're saying I'm a broke bitch because they want to discredit me. On the flip side, they're saying that I have things and they want part of what I have. Well, those of us with common sense understand what they're really doing. What they're really doing is trying to steal it from me. They're trying to take what I have from me so that by saying I'm broke and then trying to make me broke, they can take it. So I'm wondering, like, I told you, who pays these people? Who's involved? Who benefits if I can't afford to keep up my bills? Who would take it? Like, does it get seized? Does it get, who benefits from coming into my apartment and stealing? If you're stealing from my apartment, aren't you devaluing my stuff? Aren't you taking away some of my assets? Who benefits? It doesn't, the people who would benefit from stealing my stuff is not, I don't know. They keep saying, oh, maybe law enforcement doesn't benefit from stealing my stuff. Does the state benefit from stealing my stuff? No. Who benefits? The schemy scammies benefit. They wanted me to file false insurance claims for stuff. I will not do that, because then who benefits? The schemy scammies. Because that's another scam. I'm going to end on this scam. The schemy scammies, if they steal my stuff and then I file a false insurance claim and say, then the schemy scammies get the value of my stuff and then they can sell it. And whoever else is working with them gets the value of that. But also then they put me in that situation where once I can't find it, they could say, well, you had someone steal it. You get what I'm saying? So they then could have it look like I arranged it. That's why I didn't do it. That's why I went to law enforcement to say, this is missing. This is stolen. I can't find this. I can't find that. My laptop is not the laptop that I should have. I had one with a floppy disk. The little box. Oh, that's another video. But I had a blue portable hard drive. Those box like that. And they replaced it with a black one because they said I had a lot of pictures on it because I was doing a website that had a lot of things around New York. And they said that they stole it and they gave out my pictures so other people could sell the pictures, which sounds stupid because if they're in New York, they probably get a better photographer than me to give the pictures to. But you see how now they're going to have a hard time understanding this. But you and I know that scam. Filing a false insurance claim is a crime. And if they could, they would implicate me in the crime. And I'm not going that route. So the schemy scammies have a lot of schemes and they have a lot of scams, but I'm not involved in it. But you can see how over time, hearing these schemes, hearing these scams, it's making me understand who's involved. It cannot be law enforcement. Why can't it be law enforcement? Because law enforcement doesn't benefit from those schemes or scams. It can't be, they said, oh, it's something in this is a government program. Well, that's a whole other issue that they would have to address because I don't get that. It has to be the schemers and the scammers. And by calling me a broke bitch and then hitting me so that I go on disability and then trying to move me out of my apartment, it benefits only them. It doesn't benefit New York State. It doesn't benefit the police, and it doesn't benefit me. So on that note, I'll leave it at that.